Recently, I was on vacation in Montana with a bunch of friends, and we wanted to do a lot of hiking, getting up into the mountaintops and seeing the beautiful views and enjoying nature. But to go hiking in Montana, one needs to bring with them bear spray, which is like pepper spray, but more intense, and it's designed, to, if you come into a bear in close quarters, to get it to run away from you. And fortunately, they sell it everywhere. Even at Costco, they sell it in bulk out there. I hope you never need a bulk pack of bear spray, but if you do, it's there. So we had our bear spray, and we're going hiking. And as you go, you're also supposed to make a lot of noise, clapping and yelling, to scare off the bears before you come upon them at all. And so they're not startled in close quarters with you. And so we're doing this. We're going for the hike, and we're yelling and we're clapping, and we don't run into any bears the whole time. We don't see any, which on one level was a bit disappointing. It would have been fun to see a bear, perhaps, and it also made us question and wonder, like, well, did we buy this bear spray for nothing? Was it really necessary? Were there even any bears around? Were we just looking like fools, clapping our hands and yelling all the time? Seemed like maybe it was pointless. I think something similar can happen for us in the spiritual life, in our prayers and doing God's will. And if we don't see great miracles or great signs, maybe we've heard of people who, they've had some terminal illness and God works a miracle and heals them of that. Or somebody is stuck in addiction and they have a great conversion and change of heart, and they come to the Lord, and we see like God's sign so clearly and evident. While for our lives, perhaps we wonder, like, what is my faith doing for me? I live a pretty good life. It's a valid question. In the first reading from the book of Exodus today, we see Moses and the Israelites receive this great miracle from the Lord of the parting of the Red Sea, in which they pass through the Red Sea and they escape from their enemies, Pharaoh and the Egyptians. And we hear that they saw this great power and they therefore believed in the Lord. They saw the miracle God did for them, and they believed in his great power. And so whenever there is a miracle that God does, it is a great sign and witness to us. But just a few comments about that. First, for Saint Therese of Lisieux, she comments how, if somebody breaks their leg and then somebody helps them, they're very grateful to that person who helped them for helping them get out of that difficult situation and their challenging in that challenge. But how much more so for the person who prevents that person from breaking that leg at all? How much more grateful they should be to them for that. And same for us too, if I have many blessings in life and I don't need great miracles from the Lord to free me from illness or disease or addiction, then to be able to give thanks to God for that blessing in our lives. Secondly, is to recognize that our enemies in the spiritual life are the threats and dangers to us aren't so much material and physical, but are spiritual. And so we don't necessarily see them with our eyes, but with the eyes of our heart. And so being able to recognize that the miracles that God does in each of our life each day have more to do with freeing us from addiction, freeing us from sin, freeing us internally so that we're free to love. Lastly, just as for my hike, the point wasn't so much to see bears and to fight them off, but rather to get into the mountains and to be on the mountaintop. The same for us is true in the spiritual life. It's not about miracles. It's not about in some part it is about overcoming temptation and sin, but that's just a part of the journey and to arrive at our destination. And so we hear God freed the Israelites from Egypt, not just to make them walk through the Red Sea, but to lead them into the promised land. And so Jesus, for us, he frees us from sin and death through the waters of baptism, but in order to bring us to heaven, to eternal life with him, to bring us to our true inheritance, to be members of his family. So let us give thanks to God for the blessings that he has given us in life, for helping us to overcome evil in all its forms, but most of all, for making us our beloved Father's heavenly children and leading us to heaven.